Good morning, everybody. Just woke up. We're down here checking on all of the seedlings, making sure they're good for the day, making sure the soil is moist, taking a look at some of the houseplants we've got down here too. And today we're heading out to our friend's land where we have a couple of raised garden beds, and we are in the process of filling up those garden beds with the soil that we need in them, and then we are kind of doing like a lasagna gardening type of deal where we're putting down a bunch of organic matter in layers and then soil, and then we're also going to do some horse manure mixed in the top layer of soil. And today that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to head out to the farm and get some of that good old composted horse manure that's been sitting there for years, to get that in the garden to give our plants a little bit of a extra boost this year.
On one of your gardens over there.
Okay, this is the big old pile of poop. This stuff has been sitting here for years, so we're gonna dig deep down into this. Again, when you guys are doing this, if you have the option, make sure you get composted manure. So manure that's been sitting for at least a couple of seasons is the best. That way, one, you're not gonna have any seeds and stuff germinate in your garden that you don't want. So if you take fresh manure, sometimes those seeds can germinate, and obviously we don't want those. And also, the more composted it is, the easier it's going to be to break down even further in your garden, and for those nutrients to be picked up and absorbed by your plants. So let's get to work.
Apparently not. She wanted
Stay over here?
to get in on the action. To hold her over. Yeah.
Alright, so in these garden beds, we have an upcoming video on everything that we're doing to prepare it for its first year of growth. We laid down cardboard and then we put on some soil because we got a pond dug out back that I think they did yesterday, and so I figured while they were doing that, they might as well dump some of the soil in here. We are going to have to get rid of some of the sod that's in there just to make sure that it doesn't come up through the compost that we're adding, but otherwise I think it's looking good. We'll show you guys the pond that they have now over here too. It's pretty neat. We're going to be working on that as an upcoming project as well to help them out around the house here. So let's go look at the pond. I want to see how big it is. It's pretty big, dude, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be like a water feature, a fountain going down and flowing into the pond. We've got to line it, put all sorts of rocks and decorations around it, make it look good. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to look so nice. Whoa. Alright, I'll show you guys what we're doing. So unfortunately, when the guy was digging out the pond, he put a lot of sod in here. But as long as it's really buried by like 5 or 6 inches of this compost, that sod's not going to sprout up and grow through that. So what did we do, buddy? Did we get all the sod buried?
Yeah.
Yeah. We turned it around, worked the bed a little bit, and then we're going to put all of that manure and compost in there, which is going to be great. Provide a nice top layer for the garden this year. All right, now what we've done is we've got the manure and the compost. There's a ton of wood shavings in this too. And like I said, this stuff has been composting for years and breaking down like we need it. What we did was fill the bed so it's a couple of inches from the top. And now we're gonna get a bunch of wood shavings. So if you've got a place that sells bedding and stuff for livestock or horses, you can take the shavings and then add in the next layer. This is gonna be the very top layer. That's going to help a little bit with drainage. It's going to provide some more of the right compounds. When you're doing this, you want a mix of nitrogen and carbon. Let's just take a moment and pause on this real quick because it's really important that your compost have a good mixture of both carbon and nitrogen. Looking over at the carbon materials, you have stuff like aged hay, cardboard, sawdust, wood, egg cartons, straw, or dried grass and shredded paper. On the other side, we have nitrogen materials, which are going to be all of your plant clippings, weeds, old flower bouquets, animal manure, houseplant clippings, whatever you have that's basically green material, that's going to be fixing in nitrogen to your compost. It's very crucial that you mix both of these together. So that's kind of where lasagna gardening method comes into play here, because we're adding layers of different types of materials when building these garden beds. So you need a good mix of that stuff, and that's what we're doing with this technique by mixing the different layers in this garden bed here. One last step here, as I said, we've got all this sawdust here. We're gonna mix in the top few inches of soil.
Yep. Okay, good. It's flowing that way. Yeah.
So it turns out we're gonna do one more layer. This is why they call it lasagna gardening. You're doing layer after layer after layer. Our last layer, we're gonna buy some bags of actual soil, throw on the top there, and it's gonna settle. It seems like it's gonna settle down quite a bit, and that's why we're gonna do that. So we didn't really plan on doing that, but it's from the feel of it, I think that's what we're gonna go with. So that's part of gardening. We're always making little changes here and there depending on the situation that we're faced with. So overall, this is gonna be incredible, guys. You guys are gonna be so surprised with the results, and I hope you try something like this at home. I know a lot of people don't really do this. They mostly fill up their garden beds with nothing but soil, but this method is really incredible. It provides some great growing medium for the plants. And another method that I want to try in the future here is hugelkultur. If you've never heard of that, look it up. I think it's Hugel. Just look up Hugel gardening and you'll find a lot of incredible videos and information on that. It's really cool. Basically, you take logs and sticks and make up your first layer and mount it up nice and high. And then from there, you put your soil on top of that. And the logs and sticks provide a really long-term composition for the soil, and it's really an incredible technique, a cool technique that people use in gardening. So that's something we might try out this year too. We were gonna plant in this today, but I think we're gonna wait. I'm not sure if we're able to get any soil right now. So once we get the soil in here, then we're gonna plant our radishes, and then beets and carrots will be soon after that. Those will be the first ones in the garden beds here. So stick around for that. Thank you guys for tuning in today. It was kind of a cool, like more vlog type of a video, just giving you a first-hand look at what we're doing in the garden. And then later on, once we get done with all these beds, I'll do a cut and chopped video of how to create these garden beds without all of the personal dialogue that you guys got here today, so stick around for that. And as always, in the springtime, we've got a ton of gardening content coming up, a ton of vegetable gardening, so please stay tuned, subscribe if you like today's video, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening.